Here we go, George. We're live.
Evening, everybody. Welcome back to. I nearly said Friday. No, it's not Friday. It's a Thursday night because I'm on international warm weather training from tomorrow, so going to Spain. So decided we couldn't go a week without having a show. So thank you for everyone who's watching already. I'm going to introduce you to my guest. It's a bit different tonight because Dan's basically absconded, and I think how dare he go on a holiday and catch COVID all at the same time. So yeah, we'll start with my guest as well. So Andrew is probably a lot more glamorous and better looking than Dan. So welcome, Andrew.
Well, I don't know, but I'll take that. Thank you. Welcome to yourself.
How are you doing?
Yeah, voice has recovered. Emotions still shot, but we'll take it day by day.
We also first show for Chantel. How are you doing, mate?
I think Chantel's frozen.
Okay. We'll come back to Chantel. Jack, welcome back. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Still basking in the absolute glory of Sunday, to be fair. I don't think we've had a sunny day yet where I am, but it's felt like a sunny day.
Yeah, that's
always a lot easier after a win and a Conti Cup.
well. Welcome, Mel. How are you feeling? Yeah.
Voice has only just started coming back. But yeah, feeling good still, sort of floating on the high from the weekend. I don't think I'm coming down anytime soon because I don't think I'm going to feel like that again.
Yeah. We do like if Liverpool FC sponsor celebrations and Mel smashed that one out of the park.
I'm needing significantly more layers tonight than I was on Sunday.
I didn't want to say that because of how first we got into the show because I thought that we'll roll with that. So yeah, do we have Chantel unfrozen?
Oh, is my internet working?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, just still living off of our win, and I just like to rub it into my mate who's a Chelsea supporter. So just continuing that this week.
Yeah, excellent. We are all here for bantering and winding up Chelsea fans, and including a certain Emma Hayes if you're watching. But you're probably so yeah, we'll and also evening to people in the chat. So we'll start with obviously the whole around the day. Andrew, you went to the game, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah. What a day! Easily my kind of best sporting moment. I think. Sort of my life. It was. I think actually the manner of it was it made it kind of more important. Maybe sort of like the backdrop to the rest of the season, and sort of like the last minuteness of it. I think it was that it was a thing that kind of made it so much more special than last year's. And I have I have seen Arsenal win trophies in the past. In the I don't know if they were the good old days where you'd rock up to kind of major finals, just anticipating a win, and then delivering 5-0 wins in finals. So that in the days of Kelly Smith and etc. So yeah, this was by far the best win on an emotional level for sure.
Yeah. Did you go up for the day or did you stay over for the weekend?
Well, I only live down the road. I'm in Coventry. Why did I say that? I was born in Coventry, but I now live in Warwickshire. Yeah, so it was a fairly speedy, mind you, not. I was on the M6. It wasn't speedy at all. Journey. Yeah, rocked up for the day, and then I went home, sleeping soundly in my bed.
Yeah, it's quite a local route for you then. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come to you, Chantel. What was your about the day? Did you travel up on the day? Did you go to the game?
Yeah, I travelled up on the day. Sadly, not as nice for being so close like Andrew. It was about a 3-hour drive for me. I'm in Southampton, so quite high up. But I really enjoyed it. It was nice to have a back-to-back win with the Conti Cup, and I think the atmosphere, we just made it so much more better, which Arsenal fans always do.
Yeah, I thought I will say I thought as a whole unified group, I thought the atmosphere was really, really good. Probably one of the best I've heard for the women, to be fair. I'll come to you about that, Mel. Obviously he was at the pub before with me and a few of the others. We had the van walk that I guided everyone into a car park. I don't know why they asked the one who can't see to guide people on the phone. I don't mind setting it all up, but my eyes do not work, guys. But yeah, that was quite fun. What did you think about the atmosphere pre-match?
Yeah, even the atmosphere in the pub's probably the busiest I've seen a pre-match meet-up in a while.
Yeah.
Probably since, I think it might have been the Wolfsburg game at the Emirates was probably the last time I've seen a fan meet-up that sort of busy and loud and exciting, to the point that we were actually spilling out of the pub onto the street, and I was sneaking people in the back gate even though the pub stopped letting people in. So I'm officially the world's worst bouncer, but if you were in red and white, you were getting squeezed into that beer garden whether you liked it or not. But yeah, it was really good. Like you said, atmosphere in the stadium was probably one of the best I've heard in a long time. Yeah, I just want to go back and do it all over again, if I'm honest. It was such a good weekend.
Yeah, maybe not the at late extra time winner though. I
would have rather the goal come a lot sooner, but
don't think body can put up with that, especially with my celebration. So yeah, I'll come to you, Jack. Did you go to the game?
I didn't. Unfortunately, I had a night shift the night before, so I was unable to make it. But so I had let's say I watched it on the TV. There were times when I think I wished I had the commentary muted. For sure. I don't think watching it on TV ever makes it feel any easier either. I don't know. I always feel more nervous with the TV again than I do with the crowd. But I definitely had wished I was there, and especially with the scenes at the end. I know I had a few mates there, and I was feeling particularly jealous of missing out on this one for sure.
Yeah, I'll do a shout out to my brother Austin. For those who met, he's got quite a few bruises because when the goal, the celebration play should have probably been called because I celebrated, smashed my knee off a metal bar, turned around, grabbed him, and he apparently I launched him halfway down the aisle. And Sam had to basically catch Austin. So yeah, sorry about that, mate. Do we have any comments, Andrew?
Just a good evening from Tariq Mahmood.
So yeah, we'll come to the lineup first. I'll start with you, Chantal. Was the lineup what you thought it was going to be?
I was a little bit shocked with, I don't know, I'm just rooting to see Stina and Alessia on the pitch together, and I think quite a few of us are, because you can see how they work together and what they're trying to make. It's just waiting for them to get that time together, which I think came quite late. I know she was a bit unwell and that's why she didn't start, but I was pleasant with the starting lineup. I thought it was a little bit different than what it normally is, which is quite good, but still a little bit normal, same faces that starts.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll go to you, Mel. Obviously, we know Jonas watches the podcast, so thanks for watching, Jonas. Just because with some of the stuff we said, was that line up the set? Like what routine?
He heard me beg for Lucas to start, and he listened. So very happy about that. I feel like she had an unbelievable game. Obviously, like Chantal said, everybody and their dog wants Russo and Stina to start together. When that's going to happen, I do not know. Yeah, overall, the whole lineup front to back, I was really, really happy with. Again, we went 4-2, 3-1, as we always do, but it worked. I'll take it. So yeah, I actually had no complaints about the lineup for once, which is very, very surprising for me.
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of the same with the lineup. To be fair, I was quite happy with it. I did obviously want to see Stina and Russo start, but maybe where she was ill, he didn't want to. I don't know. It's one of those things. I'll come to you, Jack. When you have a squad like that, you can bring power off the bench. And I know Russo people want her to start with Stina, but surely when you've got people like Leslie Russo, Caitlin Ford coming off the bench, that just shows how powerful and how strong our squad is, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think for sure it shows the strength of the squad. I mean, I was pretty happy with the lineup as well. I felt it was about time we saw Frida in that number 10 role. I think one of our issues this season had been really linking the midfield with the attack and having someone to float around that almost final third area to create the chances and get balls in behind. And I thought we probably saw the best of Caitlin Ford that we've seen in quite a while coming off the bench. I think she looked fresher. I think she was coming on at a time where she could impact the game. And in a similar way, I think if Russo's not ill, or if Russo's been ill, not 100%, then a cup final just isn't the time to risk her with a first 90. And I think I had no complaints. Like, if you put Russo out and she's not 100% in a game against Chelsea, you're going to get found out for it, really. And I think we needed players who were 100% at it, and we had that, thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right, to be fair. Andrew, obviously, we had Emily Fox playing in the defence. I don't know if you agree, but I feel a lot more confident when we have Fox in the back four.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, she's that complete, she's the complete right back, and in the modern terms as well. Her ability to, she can overlap, but she can drive inwards as well. And I think when she drives inwards, she would, straight at the heart of the Chelsea defense, and they were terrified of her. I thought she did a really good job on LJ. You could see she rarely had to defend LJ on her own. There was always backup. But yeah, I thought Emily Fox was outstanding. And towards the the end of the game, there was a lot of tied legs there. She looked like she could just go again. Yeah. The energy levels, and I think that's some of the kind of the sort of like the US national team kind of thing. She's just an athlete, and she just looked as strong at the end as she did at the start. So yeah, what a fantastic signing. I must admit, I never knew who she was before I heard the rumours. But I'm absolutely delighted she's got us now. Just to let you know, Georgie, Daisy Fensom has dropped a message in saying that was her first cup final. Thanks for making it an amazing one. Really enjoyed the fan walk.
No worries. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Daisy. Feel free to comment some more. Just let us know in the comments what was your favourite part of the cup final, apart from me guiding people into car park. Like I did say to people that don't say I don't take you anywhere. Yeah. So we'll go into the first half, Mel. So we had the I'm not going to lie, I was cracking myself when we had that VAR check. Do you think, how did your opinions change of VAR, or are you still at the same thing?
I'm still very much of the same opinion of it. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, and if they hadn't given that, if they hadn't called that back and had given that goal, I would have been storming the pitch, because my eyesight's not great. I can't see that far, but even I could see that was a handball by Erin Cuthbert. We actually, me, Akram, and Hannah watched the game back when we go back to the house we were staying in after the game because Akram loves to churn out a few comps. If there's a video to comp, Akram's the man to do it. And it cuts to the Chelsea players in a huddle, and it looks like one of the players asked Erin Cuthbert, "Did that come off your hand?" And you can see her look at her arm, and she goes, "Maybe." So they all they all knew it was coming back as well. So I think had it not been called back, my opinion of VAR would not have been good. But the refs all did really well at the weekend. There wasn't any calls that I think were rogue, and any not that we went to VAR very often, but when it did, it was dealt with very, very quickly, which is my main bugbear with it, is sometimes how long it takes for them to actually come to a decision.
Yeah. Jack, I'll come to you. What did you think about the VAR decision? Do you think it was the right one, the right call was made?
Yeah, it was definitely the right decision. I mean, you could see pretty early on the TV that she'd not just handled it, but she'd literally directed the ball with her hand. So it was one of them that was quite obvious. I've got a very love-hate relationship with VAR, but I think that's often due to how the referees use it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think credit to the referee and the VAR team there. They quite quickly got the decision and got the decision right. I still don't want to see VAR in the WSL. I think one of the most refreshing things about watching the WSL is knowing that when a goal goes in, you can celebrate and so on. And I'm still willing to take a few bad decisions, even like that one in the final, just to not have VAR completely infect the game the same way that it has done in other leagues.
Yeah, I think it's when it's an interesting one, Andrew. Like when it comes to VAR, is it actually the technology or is it the officials?
Yeah, that's. I think that was Jack's point there, and Mel's as well. It is the way we use it, and for me, I think for me, if we just had clear and obvious, and only reviewed clear and obvious, and to be fair, Sundays was done really quickly, and it was as soon as seeing on the replays, it was deliberate handball as well. It wasn't even just it wasn't like Stina falling on the ball. This was a deliberate handball, and I think. I'm with you, Jack, as well. There's nothing worse than kind of start celebrating, and then in the back of your mind, it's like there's that little VAR going in there. But I think they need to be clear and obvious about what clear and obvious is, because sometimes when we're reviewing offsides and it's someone's bootlace, there's clearly not an advantage there by any team. That's not what the offside rule's about. So 100%. If we can manage it well, and I agree with Mel. I thought it was dealt with really well. Of course, I would say that because it went in our way. But equally, I agree with Jack. I would probably take a loss of a dodgy decision than just that constant. I think remember the Wolfsburg game probably was one where it was 2 or 3 kind of decisions that were just going on forever, and you're in the stadium, you haven't got a clue what's going on as to what it is they're looking at, and it kind of takes a little of the energy out of the game sometimes. I'm still firmly in that hate VAR, but on Sunday I loved it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I still, even though I kind of had an idea it was handball, I still thought, it's Arsenal, innit? Everyone hates Arsenal. I think that was the PTSD from watching the men play with VAR. So, but now we've covered the VAR subject. Chantel, what was your opinions of Arsenal's performance in the first half? Did you think we dominated it, or do you think it was a bit even?
I think it was quite choppy to begin with, where it was going either side to side, and then once we started finding our rhythm, we took a little bit more possession. We were creating the better chances, just not being clinical enough, despite Chelsea having that handball goal. And yeah, I think overall, like, I think we took it over Chelsea, but not by much until the second half.
Yeah. Is there any comments, Andrew?
Yeah, we just had Daisy come back after your request, and her favourite part on Sunday was singing North London Forever at the end after we won. And yeah, I'll co-sign that. That was the massed choir of Gooners there was on fine form at that one.
Yeah,
I have to say, you could hear it through the television, and you could tell that
Really?
it was loud. And
going to be Christmas #1 this year. So obviously any donations and proceeds will go to the chosen charity, but called the George charity. There is a question actually I want to go around and ask you guys, and I don't know if I'm being super critical, but I'm hosting, so I'll ask it. Start with you, Mel. Beth Mead, do you think she's struggling a bit? And I don't mean she's rubbish or anything like that before anyone jumps on that. I just mean she's not. I think she needs to be rested a little bit. I don't know if you agree.
I knew where this question was going before you even asked it, as soon as you teed it up. Yeah, I would agree. I feel like since coming back from her ACL, she's not really had a chance to breathe. She's been chucked in at the deep end. It's not sort of been the progressive minutes like what Viv was getting and like what Leah's got. Also, I think because Beth came back and made such a big bang when she did come back with the Villa game and things like that, that she's very much been chucked in at the deep end. And I think she's starting to hit that wall where you can see she's not struggling per se, but it's not the creativity and the freedom is not there that it was when she first came back. Almost like she's second guessing a lot of balls, she's second guessing a lot of shots, and it's not the Beth Mead that we're used to seeing.
What do you think about Beth Mead, Chantal?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Mel. She's not struggling in a way like she's not ready, but you can just see from the final there was like through balls that was going towards her, and you could see the tiredness and the fatigue where she's been playing so much. And I think this is a bit of an issue that we do tend to have, is that we don't always go to our bench. We have the same players, and you can see the fatigue, as we mentioned about Caitlin Ford having that braver and then coming on and making such a big impact. Like, you can rest Mead and a couple of players and let the bench bring and do their stuff, and then when it's important games or when you need that impact, she can come on and be that creative self that we know she is.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anything you want to add to that, Jack, about Beth?
yeah, I mean, Beth Mead is obviously an outstanding player, but I'm not sure if she's a winger. And definitely in particular, I'm not sure if she's a Jonas winger. I think what we see with Caitlin Ford, I think Jonas likes that pace and crosses into the box, whereas I think Beth Mead is always coming in a lot more, cutting in and playing much more centrally. And I think when Mead is sometimes playing, I think the balance of the team isn't always there. And I just wonder if either she's going to need to find a new position under Jonas, or if we may see her be moved on. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm pretty certain wherever she would go next, she would score lots and lots of goals. But I don't know. I'm just not convinced how well she's fitting the current system that we're playing. I think Jonas wants real pace down there, overlapping with fullbacks and getting crosses into the box.
Yeah. I don't see her moving on, to be honest. I can see her moving kind of a position, because I don't think we've got a settled number 9. But I don't think, like I've said it, I don't think Russo's a number 9. I think she's like that, someone who's just behind the striker. So maybe if we could see Mead in time move into central. What do you think, Andrew, about what Jack said?
God, no, she can't leave. No, but yeah, I mean, she was a striker, wasn't she, when she came to us? I think and she was repurposed as a winger. I think you're spot on, Chantal and Mel, that she was absolutely gassed. The fullback was over. She got into a foot race with the fullback just before she got taken off, and the fullback overtook her. I think get a good preseason behind her, and then she'll be back, and she will be terrorizing the opposing fullback. So, but yeah, I think it perhaps was just a bridge too far for her at the weekend, where she just almost felt like she hit a wall. To me, she was brilliant, and then you just almost could just see just the energy to go out of her. But no, I don't know. It's hard to think of that, because you just don't know what people's situations are and where it is. But it would be a bad, sad day if she moved on to anyone else. And if she did, I hope it was abroad and not against us. I would hate to see her come into the Emirates in any other shirt than ours.
Yeah, no.
We've got a question, Georgie, as well, from Richard Noden, saying, what's your opinion on squad changes for next season? It says 3 out, 2 in to make it a game. I don't know who the 3 out are.
So the ones who I think will go, unfortunately, is Arsenal's player of the season. I think Lena Hurty, I think she'll be gone.
Yeah.
I think Sabrina might go. And then when they bring another keeper, for the third one, I'm not sure. You'll quickly go around before we move on with the game. Mel, who do you think has anyone got a chance to go in?
I think Lena Hurtig, obviously. I feel a bit sorry for her, because obviously she's been plagued with injury. We've not really had a chance to see her in an Arsenal shirt, but also when she has worn an Arsenal shirt, I've not been overly impressed. I could see Sabrina going out on loan potentially to get minutes. Obviously, we've got Kaylin's been recalled because of her ACL, so I would take the risk and have one of the academy players sitting on the bench for Manu and send Sabrina out to get the minutes that she needs. Third one to go, bit of a rogue one after last Sunday, but I feel like it fully depends on if Stina puts pen to paper on a contract extension.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her to go, don't get me wrong. I feel like we need her with the way that we're playing at the minute. But it's, just if she puts pen to paper or not, and if we offer her the pen and the paper to sign it. 2 in, we need another winger, I would say. Who that winger is going to be, I don't know. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, and I feel like this is never going to happen, but a girl can dream. I would absolutely love to see Naomi Girma in an Arsenal top.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Watching her and Emily Fox play together on the same pitch for the US Women's National Team, it is a sight to see. So to see that in an Arsenal top, especially because Naomi Girma was also seen at the Emirates at the start of the season.
Yeah, remember.
That inside Twitter knowledge. Get her in red and white, and the people will love it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good shout, and obviously Chloe Kelly will sign as well, but or Lauren Hemp. Quickly go to you, Chantal. Do you agree with Mel, or is there anyone different that you think?
Yeah, I think out of the 3 thinking, I think the ones that are having good effects on the pitch, yet not having a lot of minutes, I think they will be looking to go to somewhere that they can go. And I do miss Sabrina in goal, because sometimes she makes me feel a little bit less anxious than having Sinsberger sometimes. And all these rumours about getting Earps and Van Doomslar, or however you pronounce her name, I think that's also gonna affect her decision whether she's gonna stay or maybe go elsewhere.
Yeah, I think if we bring another goalkeeper on, they've got to get rid of one, haven't they? Like obviously, I don't think Mary happens now. And Van Donselaar, I wouldn't mind that. I don't mind her, to be fair, and she's still quite young as well. So, but before we move on, Jack, do you agree with all of that, or?
Yeah, I think definitely Lena. I can see leaving. Same with Sabrina. Two that I definitely don't want to leave, but do have a few concerns over is obviously the Viv Miedema contract situation, which is very, very scarily quiet and fills me with absolute sense of dread and fear. And then the other one is that every so often you hear these murmurs of a Kim Little retirement at the end of the season, which is one that I don't think any of us are ready for. But I also do. I think when the time comes, it will be out of the blue, and I think it will take us all by surprise. Because although she looks like she could play for about another 5-6 years, I think there will become a point where she almost decides she's had enough, rather than maybe her body deciding it.
Yeah. Well, it's not happening, Kim. So don't try it. Well, I'm going to touch on a subject that was, and it's not Emma Hayes yet. Don't worry. Leave that to last because I think we've got a lot to say about that. It's the Freedom Morning incident. What happened there? I'll start with you, Andrew. Obviously, the noise was quite loud, wasn't it? And then it just went deadly silent. I was saying to Chloe, who I was saying next to, from an audio point of view, it was really, really eerie. Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it was. We've all seen sort of the Christian Eriksen moments as well. I mean, I just caught it out the corner of my eye because it was at our end, and just the way she was, it was a collapse. It wasn't that when someone's injured and they kind of lower themselves. You could just see, and when Stina went over to her, you could see Stina pulling her up towards to see her. So you got the sense that she was possibly unconscious, although it turns out she wasn't. From what we can say. But I can imagine. As we mentioned before, the noise we were making was immense, and just everybody in the stadium kind of quickly recognised that there was something quite serious was happening there, and it was. I was, really scared. I was scared. I thought, this is a horrible, horrible moment, It was interesting. It could have kind of, obviously it turns out that the news is really positive since then, or at least not negative. So should I say? It had the potential for, there was a thought in my head that we might actually sort of end the game there at that point, abandon the game because, I guess the players must have known a little bit because but even then, how difficult was it for them to carry on? My admiration for them, even knowing that she was okay, for them to sort of refocus and crack on with the game. A huge respect to those athletes just to be the focus of it, and for Jonas and the staff to kind of be sort of kind of getting them to refocus on it. But yeah, it's a truly terrifying moment.
Yeah, I agree. I was saying that all that matters was that she was okay, and you got to say about the players is about carrying on with the game. That's a lot of respect there. What do you think, Chantal?
Yeah, sadly it was right in front of me, and like Andrew said, you just see her hunch and then go down, and it's like it was so eerily quiet that you were just like praying that it wasn't anything serious. And you never like to see any player go down like that, no matter what team they play for. But it would have been like how Jonas, Stina, and Katie were quickly responding to then them calling for the paramedics, there just seemed to be no urgency there, and like you could tell that it wasn't like a normal down to the floor, I've hurt my ankle or my shin. It's something was seriously wrong. So a bit more urgency, I think, needs to happen in games when there has been situations like that. And then obviously there was this whole confusion when one of the Chelsea ends were blowing their horns. It just wasn't the right moment for that, and it's just showing that respect.
Yeah, nice segue there, Chantal, because I'm going to go straight to someone who was very vocal about this, and it wasn't me for once. Mel, I think we briefly spoke about it, and I think I see you write it on Twitter. I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just classless from Chelsea, isn't it? Really, and I don't. What I want to state here, I do not buy the crap saying, "Oh, but he didn't realise." I'm sorry, I'm registered blind, and I realised there was something going on. Don't tell me that he didn't realise that there was something like wrong.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't all the Chelsea fans. Obviously the stadium did get very, very quiet very quickly when Frida went down, but there is, unfortunately for the blue side of London, a very small minority who have painted them all with the same brush of them being classless, respectless. I'm struggling to speak about it without dropping multiple swear words, because in that moment when I heard those horns going and I heard them trying to start songs, my head was on a different planet. I think I don't mind mixed ends, but I've never been so happy that there was separate home and away ends, because that would have been one of the very few times that I probably would have been pushed to physical violence, because in that minute it's not about the game, it's not about the club, it's not about the fact that it's a derby, it's a rivalry, it's about the player who's on the floor and their health and their well-being. And sadly there's, like I said, a very small minority of Chelsea fans who in that moment had no respect and had no class.
Yeah, I agree. But people that know me know my opinions about Chelsea Football Club. So yeah, I just think classless. It's not like, at the end of the day, I would like to think that no human being with something about them would do that. Like, I could tell you where I wanted to put that air horn, but and it wasn't back in the shop either. And Jack, I'm going to come to you quickly before we move on to Stina go. Obviously, you wasn't at the game, so when the morning incident happened, could you tell straight away watching it, or?
Yes, it was a very, very weird set of TV coverage, to be honest. It was, so you could tell something serious had happened, and you could tell that mainly from the player reactions. Now, initially we were shown Frida on the floor as well, and you could see the defibrillator being brought out. So you were under no illusions what had happened, and of course at that point you're fearing the worst, because we've seen it so quite a few times now in football. It is something we've seen on a number of occasions. Obviously, the next thing that happened was, I'm just going to say about some of the TV coverage from the commentary and also from the punditry about it, which was, I don't know if you've seen any on social media, but it was really, really poor. So there was a lack of compassion, I think, for the players and the teams, and there was a lot of commentary on how this will affect the game from the commentators at the time, and then also the pundits in between extra time and full time. And there was something that did not sit right, because at that point we weren't aware of Frida's situation. All we'd known is that she'd collapsed, and it turned it into a spectacle and something that could affect the game, rather than this has happened to this person. And that was extremely disappointing to watch, really.
I know good old Farrah Williams had something to say, didn't she? I heard. Obviously, I can't comment too much, but I didn't actually hear it myself. But I heard bits of what apparently she said, and I think it was a bit tactless, to be honest. But hopefully, she can realise what she's greatest in the world. But yeah,
you always wonder if it's clumsiness due to the not knowing, and you're always going to hope to give the benefit of doubt. But I think whenever these situations happen, there's enough in TV to be able to go back to not actually sit on the cameras watching various players, various coaching staff, and I would always like to see them put filler material in or go back to the punditry where they can fill the gaps.
yeah,
It happened with Christian Eriksen. It's happened quite a few times, and there's just something not right about sitting there and watching the players react to one of their friends on the ground. And I think that's something that does need to be done better in the future.
yeah.
Well, we've got quite a few comments, George. If you want me to go through the list. So Emerson Allen Cozier says that he says you have to remember that Mead was a striker and Jonas put her on the wing, and she's not effective in games. I thought it was Montemurro that put her on the wing. Yeah, thank you, Mel.
Yeah.
Russ Morgan. I don't know if that's a deliberate spelling mistake or if he's gone with his crikey, the men's Spanish coach, the one before Arteta. Good evening.
Emery.
He's evening. That's Emery evening everyone. Then Emerson goes on to say that Hurtig and Gio, probably I think he's on about the ones to go and signed a centre half as cover for Ilstedt. That might be one. Richard Nolan says Stina in. Daisy Fensum says she's worried about Viv's contract situation, and also Laura. And Daisy was also added, I'll finish in a minute. Daisy also adds that she's so glad about Frida doing better, and it was scary to be there when it happened. Seeing her, that was so terrifying. And finally, Richard says, to be fair to Basil, the crazy Chelsea fan, if you've met him, he's clear. I'm quoting these are not my words. He's clearly several sandwiches short of a picnic. My suspicion is he lost them in the acid house era. That's not necessarily the views of the show, or definitely not the views of me, but appreciate that. And Daniel Richard says, great show, guys. So yeah, we've got lots of comments coming through.
Cheers, Dan. Cheers, Russ Morgan. I hope you're on Ivan Tony watch as usual. About Basil Brush or the Chelsea fan. Yeah, I've heard about him. I've experienced Basil.
Okay.
Not the spice either. So and I agree with the Beth Mead thing. Also, we'll go around to the moment of the game. I'd like to build this up. So I'm going to try and build this up. I know someone's celebration was iconic, but I'm going to wait for that one. And just want to build it up with the audience. So, Chantel, where obviously Stina scored. For once, it was actually it wasn't like a goal that come off a part of her body, was it? It was it was quite a well set out goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, we all know Stina's goals aren't always, well, she does score bangers, but then there has been, in the Villa game, she ended up falling on the ball, but then still scoring. So it was nice to see just a clean goal, and just you could see it was building and it was coming, and after her chances to then finally slot it in after everything that happened with Frida, it was nice for her to get it, and I think it was well deserved on her part because she didn't stop.
No, I agree with that. Andrew, do you want to go through what your celebration was?
Just noise, I think. It's just various guttural kind of noises. It was such an outpouring of emotion. I think, yeah, absolutely, Chantal. I think with the concern over Frida, the kind of the general kind of anxiety. We're heading towards penalties. They were going to probably bring on AKB, and yeah, it was just that. But it was a fair play to Jonas. It was Catley and Caitlin coming down the wing, working down the wing. Their left back was running on gas. When we talk about how tired Beth was, their right back, was just dead on her feet, and Caitlin was having her on toast. I felt kind of bad for her that she didn't get that subs weren't brought on, because she was clearly almost dead on her feet. But yeah, great goal and a great moment. But I stayed fully clothed, George.
Oh, so that for some, isn't it? Right. Jack, what did you think about the build-up play for the Stina goal? Because obviously I know you analyse this part of what you do. So
yeah, it was very, very good. I mean, I think absolute credit to Jonas. He got his subs absolutely right. I think Chelsea looked leggy and were playing for penalties at this point. And we were very much on the front foot and pushing for them. I don't know if Jonas had seen something in penalty practice or something that's meant he did not want us to go to a shootout. But we were front foot. Everything was being played quickly. We were very direct at that point as well, which was quite nice to see. And it was a goal that completely sums up Stina, really. I mean, an element of luck. There was a few rebounds as she got control of it. I'm probably going to say I think their goalkeeper should have done better with it as well. But then this is after nearly 120 minutes of Stina doing run after run after run, seeing one of her closest friends at Arsenal collapse. I mean, she should have been absolutely dead on her feet. But just her tenacity to still get the shot away, I think shows the type of player she is and why she does score so many goals as well.
Yeah, I agree. So apparently, Mel, there's a new song, and apparently it goes, when Arsenal score, Mel's top comes off. Don't know. And that one.
Yeah, no, there's rumours. I'd like to say it was an isolated incident, but my top had actually come off multiple times before Stina scored. I just think when Stina scored, it came off and it stayed off. But I think I just run out of ways to get my emotions out in the game. I'd sort of been up and down and very, very down at the Frida thing, to the point that I literally turned to my friends and I was like, guys, I'm ready to go. I've seen enough. Like, I can go home. This is put an end to the day for me. To then sort of get everybody was chanting, we're all singing for Frida and stuff, to then have Stina go and do what Stina does best and have me and my friends in absolute bits. I genuinely think I blacked out. I don't remember seeing the ball hit the back of the net. I don't remember seeing anybody celebrate. I just remember standing there on my seat, no top off. I don't even think I was in my row. I think I was in the row behind me. Alex was aggressively kissing Hannah's face because Hannah just got a Stina Blackstenius tattoo earlier on in the week. We had a Sweden flag. I don't know what happened, but yeah, no, I've been sent many photos, plenty videos of the celebration, so I don't remember doing it, but it happened. It was there, and I will do it again. Yeah. I honestly don't care. I'll do it again.
Here, obviously, we do have to prepare you that the celebration police might come after you for that.
They can come after me if they want. I tweeted it earlier.
They are,
because Susanna, who is, I don't know if everybody follows her, but takes some of the best photos of the fans and the players. So I would highly recommend you go and find her on Instagram. I tweeted the photo that she sent of me with no top on, and somebody replied to saying, Brandy Chastain walked so Chloe Kelly could run just so you could sprint in that moment. And I feel like that's all that needs to be said about Michael's celebration.
So yeah, it's an iconic Mel, but we love Mel, so it's fine. So yeah, obviously then we won the cup. Obviously North London Forever Got Sun. It's probably the best I've heard it. That, to be honest, it did sound a bit like a choir. How that happened when I think a lot of us was in the pub from like 9 a.m. Or was that just me? Okay. So yeah, it was probably one of the best days of our life, I think, to be fair. Right, we're gonna quickly, because we're coming towards the end of the show, we are gonna talk about the elephant in the room. And that is not her new nickname, by the way. Where do I start? Chantal, I'll start with you. I've got 2 words for you. Emma Hayes.
Oh, I don't know. Like, obviously, she does do good because she makes Chelsea into winners at the end of the day. But at the same time, there's things that she says and she does which just doesn't sit right with me. I mean, like, as Jonas said, like, the whole issue was they wanted to play one ball, we wanted to play multi-ball, and then because it wasn't working in their favour, that was the issue. And then they've obviously lost their chance at getting the quadruple with her, this being her last season, that she just wasn't happy. And she talks about male aggression on the sideline, but females can just be the same. So if it was the other way around and that was Jonas pushing her, I think people and the league would have had a lot more to say, and there might have been a outcome or like something with a repercussion of his actions. But because it was Emma Hayes, and maybe because it was a female, there's no outcomes, there's no repercussions or anything. So you're saying about like sticking up, and I'm not going to let the men be aggressive towards the women, but it works. Like, you're both a coach on the sideline, so it's not about whether you're male or female, it's whether you've got that authority figure and how you respond and act with it. And I think she just showed herself, and she just let herself down, and it was quite disappointing.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you said that, because you said what I wanted to say, but I was hesitant whether to say it. Andrew, I'll come to you. Yeah, what's your opinions on the quadruple winner when she was a coach somewhere else, just not at Chelsea?
When she was, what do you mean, Georgie?
Was she a coach at Arsenal when we won all the Champions League?
Yes, she was. Yeah, yeah, you have to go back in that, and yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It is interesting. She's clearly all Chelsea these days, and well, will soon be, and fair play to her. But I think I agree entirely with what Chantal says, and I think for me it's the term. If you hadn't used the term male aggression, I think you could just go with it. Oh, you're being a bit silly and you're having a bit of a strop because your team lost. And fair play, I'd be in a bad mood and I wouldn't necessarily be choosing my word. But I think with male aggression, it's kind of it's one of the pillars of the patriarchy. And I think when we're trying to promote feminism, maybe be a feminist ally, it's unhelpful. It's unhelpful to use that kind of terminology. On that situation, and I think I'm surprised the FA haven't got involved. I'm surprised there's not been, because, and I say it's just like those terms. If it wasn't for anything, if you just said, oh, Jonas shouldn't do this, Jonas, you go, well, he didn't, and you move on. But yeah, that she's got away with shoving someone is interesting. But I think that accusation is it's a step too far, and I'm surprised that more hasn't been done with it. I don't think Arsenal will do anything about it, because that's the classy thing to do. You just kind of just walk away from it. But yeah, disappointing. But she has won the quadruple, isn't she? With us, as you say.
What she's moaning about. I'll quickly come to you, Mel, because we've only got a couple more minutes. What do you think about the Emma situation?
I think, like Andrew and Chantel both said, to call it male aggression is it's like she wanted a headline out of it, if I'm honest. There's much more pressing issues going on in the women's game, including male coaches, than whatever happened on the sideline. Obviously, something was said. I don't know what was said about the ball system, but obviously, like we said, we wanted multi-ball, they wanted one ball. Things start going not in their favour, and suddenly they want to switch. Obviously, Erin Cuthbert did also then swear up to Jonas on the sideline afterwards. Wasn't seen in the minute, but she, when I watched it back, she did walk towards him like she was wanting to fight him, and for Emma Hayes to then physically put her hands on him and push him away when he just wanted to shake hands and say, well done. Just, yeah, in that situation, she's got to be the bigger person, no matter what was said or what was done. She just has to hold her hands up, shake his hand, and walk away. Say what you want in the press conference, say what you want behind closed doors, but don't make it public. It's really sort of overshadowed what happened on the pitch, and it was a very eventful day between last minute goals and what happened with Frida, and then that coming at the end. I think that the final's being talked about for a lot of the wrong reasons. But yeah, the male aggression is a bit of a stretch for me, especially considering the other issues with male coaches going on in leagues at the minute, and how this has got a lot more press than what that has, and that is definitely a much bigger issue in my eyes.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And Emma Hayes has made comments on that haven't really sat right with me either, but that's not something we'll get into today. But yeah, I think she's handled it in the true Emma Hayes way, which is a bit stupid and a bit off the cuff.
Cool.
We've got 3 minutes, George, and we've got another a raft of comments if you want them.
Let me just briefly get from what Jack wants to say, then we'll go through them and then we'll finish.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll make it very brief for you
right.
guys. Yeah, no, I think it was just classless actions from a classless club. You saw absolutely nothing on the TV that showed any male aggression. I think male aggression is a big issue in all areas of society, and it's not something that should be taken lightly. And I think using it in a football in that scenario was wrong. I think if Jonas had been agitated in extra time, I think the fact he's had to see one of his players collapse is probably a fair enough reason, a fair enough time to not be quite right on the touchline. And I think actually, if you look at the situation of the game as a whole, yeah, it was classless at the end. I think if it'd been the other way around, it'd have been a very different reaction. And I think it would have had a lot more said about it. And this isn't the first time from Emma Hayes, and I think good riddance that we're not going to have to see her again for more reasons than just in terms of the Chelsea shirt. It was very disappointing given what had gone on in the game for the reaction at the end, in my opinion.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know if we actually have time to read the comments. I'm sorry about that, but we will we'll reply to them afterwards. But thank you to everyone who has commented, watched the show. Please like, share. Thank you to my guests. Thank you, Chantel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you for having me again.
Mel, thank you as always, mate.
Thank you for having me again, George.
And Andrew, thanks for your help and reading stuff and just
You're
being
very welcome. And I'm just glad I don't have to read some of these last comments. Mel's fan club is building quite rapidly.
We will reply to those comments as well. I'll try and do it myself. So just thank you for watching the show. Please remember, guys, please like, share, subscribe if you possibly can. It really helps the channel. And if you guys want to come on, reach out to us and we'll definitely get you on. So have a good evening, have a great weekend, and all take care.
See you later, mate.